right? So all we're gonna do, just to start off, left foot up by the wall, hands on the wall so you can extend out fully. You're gonna move that right foot back to a comfortable position, a couple feet back. It's really important to keep both feet directly ahead, so both kind of in the shape of an 11, right? So your hands on the wall here, all we're gonna do is bend the left front knee and then press into our hands to try to get some push and extension, straightening that right leg fully, right? So it's not gonna be a massive stretch. We'll get into those after this, but it's gonna be a good warm-up just to get into this. The other thing, you guys are probably all used to this stretch, the other thing that you can do out of this is actually get some ankle mobility by straightening the front leg and then bending that back leg, and then we're gonna alternate from the hip, just moving that leg around. So I'll show you this one in person, but this is a really good one just to get some ankle mobility going and a little bit of a different stretch in that calf muscle. So then again, pushing forward, pushing into our hands to get some leverage, so that way when we straighten that right leg, we're getting a stretch in the major portion of the calf. And then when you straighten and kind of bend that right leg back, bend that right knee rather, you're gonna get a stretch a little bit more into your Achilles and into the lower portion of your calf muscle. So just something that we can start to toy with. But we're gonna hold this for 30 seconds, then we're gonna switch. So the left foot's gonna come back, the right foot goes forward, and then again, just bending into that front knee, straightening the back leg, and getting a stretch into that calf muscle. And then switching to where this one is really challenging just because my calves are super tight, sort of my ankles, but just getting a little bit of a bend in that back leg as you straighten the front leg, that'll get in your Achilles. All right, so second calf stretch is going to be finding a stair or a step ladder like this that you can basically take a step on. I'm showing bad form because I don't have shoes on, but you would want to have your shoes on for this. All we're going to do is we're going to start, and this is a very passive type of calf stretch, but if you're on top, if you're standing on a stair, you want to get on the balls of your feet so your ankles can move down below the stair. But standing here, we're just going to lower it down slowly. You'll get a stretch in your calves here, and then press up and flex the calves. You're essentially getting into your calves, but also the Achilles as well. This is a really good stretch if you're able to let this go further down and then press up. Do this about 20 times, and then after you've done both feet, alternate so you can just do one at a time. So you lift one leg up, you go down, press up, squeeze, slowly coming down, slowly going up, and then switch. Go to the other side, and you'll do about 20 of these on both sides. Okay? Pressing up, squeeze, slowly lower, press up. All right, so downward dog is what they call a relaxed position, relaxing kind of base position in yoga. Essentially, it's meant to help you recover, allow you some time to breathe, for your muscles to incorporate the movements that you've been doing. But for us, what we're going to be focusing on downward dog on this one specifically for is the calf stretch that you get out of. So to get into downward dog, we typically start with our hands and knees. And from here, when you're in a regular tabletop, like if we were to do cat and dog, from here, you're going to move your hands one hand length forward, curl your toes under, and then you're going to push your hips back in space, so that way you're pushing into your hands, and your chest is going to come below your shoulders. So if your legs are tight, like mine are right now, bend your knees, but you want your back flat. You don't want it arched or rounded. You want all the weight into your hands and into your toes. And in this position here, you should feel a bit of a stretch in your shoulders, like some work around your scapula, being done because your chest is coming forward, your head is below your shoulders, so to speak. And then out of this, you can straighten your legs a little bit. That's going to give you a stretch in your calf muscles, maybe even in your hamstrings. But when you're in this position, you can bend one leg, straighten the other, and then rotate. Straighten that one that was bent, and bend the other one that was straight. This is called pedaling out your feet. And doing this, it really gets in your calf muscles and gives you a great stretch. So if you do this about 10 times on each side, this is really going to get into those calves even more intensely than anything we've done thus far. This is my favorite calf stretch because of the results and the way that it feels that we really get into it. Now, I forgot to mention at the beginning of all this is one of your best friends, most likely. So this is a yoga strap. If you don't have access to a yoga strap, hopefully you've got a towel in the house. You can use a towel, you can use a belt, but essentially we want to be able to use this to help us get more into our stretches and into our poses so that we get more out of it, right? So this last calf stretch that I'm going to get into, and we can use this stretch not only for calves, but for also hamstrings and some hips and some other things. But essentially this is our runner stretch. So one leg straight and then one leg bent. So what we want to do, normally we would just hinge the hips and fold forward, but to get in the calves, we can use this strap, or like I said, the towel or the belt, and really just loop this around the ball of your foot. And being able to get a stretch in the calf means we're going to take the toes, we're going to have them flexed, but we're going to try to pull the toes gently, not super hard, but we want to pull the toes gently towards our body. That's going to give us the flexion that we're going to need to get in the calves. So here, all we're doing is using the muscles in our arms just to pull forward and lightly get a stretch in there. So you may not feel a ton going on in your calf muscle, but I guarantee you this is plenty just to get some work out of that calf, right? And then just to give some resistance, you can also press forward. You'll get a little bit into the shins, but then come back again. This is also getting a little bit of ankle mobility when we go into this, offering some resistance as we point our toes, and then pulling the toes back to get that stretch.